Redditors, when have you felt like the underdog and somehow pulled off a win you never expected? In ninth grade, I sat in the back row of Mrs. Dunbar's English class, wedged against the radiator that always rattled louder just before the bell. My desk wobbled, and if I leaned forward, my knees would bump the metal, making everyone look my way. It was peak awkwardness, and all year I barely spoke, hoping to stay invisible. The one exception was my handwriting, messy, always smudged with ink near the margins, no matter how hard I tried to keep it neat. One morning, Mrs. Dunbar suddenly announced that the school was holding a poetry contest, and only one student from each class could submit a piece. I felt my stomach twist. I had never shown anyone my poems, not my parents, not even my best friend, Mark, who sat near the window and doodled dragons on his notebook. Mark nudged me and whispered, "You're going to enter, right?" But just hearing it made me nervous. A week later, Mrs. Dunbar walked around handing back homework, stopping at my desk. She paused, flipping my paper over, and looked at me in a way that made my ears go hot. "You have a way with words," she said quietly, so only I heard. I wondered if she really meant it, or if she was just being nice because my handwriting always looked so desperate to be readable. At lunch, Mark teased, "Bet you $5 you enter that contest and win." I could have said yes, but instead I mumbled some excuse, trying to laugh it off. The next day, Mrs. Dunbar did roll call and then waved a stack of blue flyers. "Today's the last day for the contest," she said. "If you want to submit, let me know before class ends." My heart beat so loud I thought everyone could hear it. I stared at my notebook, the one covered in old song lyrics and scribbled lines that never sounded quite right, and realized I had never felt this nervous about something I actually cared about. As people started packing up, Mark leaned over and muttered, "You're going to regret it if you don't." I tried to ignore him, but the radiator started up, that low rattle, almost like a warning. Just before the bell, I walked up to Mrs. Dunbar's desk with my poem folded in half and handed it over. She looked surprised, then smiled and said, "I knew you had it in you." 2 weeks later, the principal called me into the office. My first thought was that I must have done something wrong, but Mrs. Dunbar stood there too, grinning. They showed me a typed version of my poem hanging in the hallway. "You won first place," the principal said. My hands shook, and I remember the smell of the paper and how the sunlight lit up the gold frame. I had spent all year just trying to blend in, but in that moment, something shifted. I could not stop grinning. Sometimes I wonder if victory always feels so quiet at first, like a radiator warming the whole room from underneath.